for the first time for the college football players, for the FBS. So I like that part. But I'm going to give them a chance to get to the national championship.
RC, you've had a front row seat with Notre Dame all year. How far can they go?
Well, Molly, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because, when Brian Kelly left Notre Dame for LSU, we all said, oh, man, Notre Dame can't win these big games against these teams. And there was also, Stephen A., first of all, thank you for the support. But there was somebody on this show, Molly, who said Notre Dame didn't even belong. I think we got a tape.
Oh, okay.
When you think about the top four right now, since I'm on a roll and I'm ruffling feathers, I might as well just keep it a buck with this one. Hey, nobody wants to see Notre Dame in there either, too, bro. Notre Dame is college football's Dallas Cowboys. Like, nobody wants to see them.
So obviously, Cam, Notre Dame was one of the teams that you said nobody want to see, but they are in the semifinals. Do you still stand on this?
No. See, that was a hot take, and what Frank Lucas say? I stand by it.
Okay,
I can guarantee it. Like they play today, but if you understood my sentiments about really my take.
So what was the take for people that don't know?
We don't want to see Notre Dame. And to dive even deeper, what I said on First Take was, it's not just about not seeing them. I don't think Notre Dame's road to where they are now was more difficult than an SEC team. Okay. Hey, what about, somebody's going to say, what about Tennessee playing Ohio State? Cool. I felt Ohio State earned the right to play Tennessee. Well, what about Ole Miss? Right? Like these teams that have went through the SEC's gauntlet, they have earned the right to play these games. I don't think Notre Dame has earned the right because they don't even play for a fucking conference championship. So you got teams that are being penalized for playing in conference championships and not winning or winning, and still. So when I'm making my takes about certain situations, it's a little bit more than just what you think. It's like the brand of football that Notre Dame plays, right? Very gritty. They beat a Georgia team, as I said before, that was not the Georgia team that we were used to seeing. And Ryan Clark made a valid point. Things have changed with Notre Dame's expectation. But can you honestly say, throughout Georgia's dominance under Kirby Smart, that this is the best University of Georgia team? So they've changed too.
That's true.
And that's all I'm saying. It's like with Notre Dame having the 58th toughest schedule, when you got teams like Ole Miss in the top 20s or the top 30s, when you got Georgia who has top 20, when you got guys like Texas, Ohio State, who's played valid opponents, we knew what Boise State was going to give us. And for those who say, man, we just still want to see, bro, this is not fucking March Madness. This is no Cinderella story. This is the fucking gridiron gang, doggy, where you got to line it up constantly, consistently, and knock a motherfucker in his fucking face.
Talk to him, bud.
You feel what I'm saying? Like that March Madness shit, that shit's cute, but they play basketball a lot of places. Yeah. D1, D1 AA, all that. Like, bro, when you line that shit up in football, smash mouth, it's gonna come down to really getting after it. And that's my point. I just don't feel like Notre Dame can honestly say, if they have success, that they've earned the right to be labeled the national champion.
All right, so it's pressure on Notre Dame from you, but also on the other side, it is pressure on Ohio State, and most importantly, Ryan Day. All right, so they're going into the game, obviously playing Texas in the semis. How much does he have more to lose or more to gain in this situation with where he is now? Because obviously he was on a hot seat, about to be fired. People was talking about that in weeks prior.
This was speculation.
There was speculation. We don't know, but it was speculation that he was about to be fired. Obviously, with Ohio State being number 2 with the most money in NIL, which is $22 million, and Texas being number 1 at $28 million. So the top 2, biggest NIL deal teams are going head to head. But who has more to lose or gain in this situation? What does he have to lose?
I think the situation with Ryan Day a couple weeks back, it wasn't the fact that he was on a hot seat more so than he was just underperforming. When you spend that type of coin on that type of roster, you have the most expensive roster in college football.
Second most, yep.
And you're not living up to expectations when you lose to teams, especially your rivalry.
2 years in a row.
In Michigan. What the fuck are we doing? And then they go out and whoop ass versus a good Oregon team, dominated in every aspect of the game. Now you're starting to see, okay, now they're peaking at the right moment. I've said this before and I'll say this again. The national championship is going to be played versus Texas and Ohio State. The winner of that game is going to win the national championship. Mark it. Like those guys are more battle tested than Penn State and Notre Dame, in my opinion. It just the numbers say it. Right? And when you look at a game like Ohio State and Texas, it's going to come down to one thing, Peggy.
What's up?
Quarterback play. Can Texas's quarterback and Quinn Ewers live up to the fucking hype? Hey, can Ohio State quarterback Will Howard live up to the fucking hype? With all that firepower, nobody else matters. The quarterback who plays the best will win. That team will win. Everything else is BS, in my honest opinion. Situation that I also used earlier was this is the same situation that we were in a couple years ago when C.J. Stroud played with Ohio State, and they played Georgia in the semifinals. That was the national championship. Georgia ended up winning, right?
Yeah.
And they played TCU, and they beat the fucking brakes off them babies.
The championship was the week before.
You dig what I'm saying?
The time before, yep.
And that wasn't a game. The game was Ohio State and Georgia.
Semifinal.
All that to say, when you look at how the things is unfolding, right? It's not that I don't believe in Ohio's Penn State and Notre Dame. I just feel like they haven't been battle tested enough to really overtake a more talented team in either Texas or Ohio State.
Now, can I ask a question real quick? So my only question is, what the fuel of being like the underdog in this case, right? Maybe Notre Dame is feeling in that, like they're the underdog in this case. Where do you rank or compare having that fuel of being an underdog versus being the top dog? Like what is like who has more at stake? Not more at stake. Let me say like, what is the stronger fuel? Because there are teams where the underdogs are so hungry that they beat. Like I feel like that's why I have with Georgia.
But that's not. See, that right there, bro, is really. That's March Madness Cinderella story vibes. You don't get that in football. Like we don't see really no major upsets in football. In the regular season, yeah, but in the playoffs, not really. Like over the years, you've seen Appalachian State beat Michigan. You've seen teams in the regular season beat powerhouse teams or supposed powerhouse teams. But as the season unfolds, they were who we thought they were. Yeah. More times than not, you're not going to see a Cinderella story in football as a whole, right? Now, college football is one thing, and the NFL is completely different too because they're professionals. But you don't really have that to go off of because everybody loves a cool underdog story. Hey, I told you. Even with Notre Dame, they were like, yo, I told you, Cam. So many people done tagged me and mentioned me and all. But I'm like, bro, when your quarterback throws for 90 fucking yards, bro, like, are we really talking about something? I believe, and I know this for a fact,
What's up?
Georgia lost that game more than fucking Notre Dame won it. And people aren't talking about that. And a win is a win. Cool, bro. But, bro, you're not going to be able to keep skating by Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like, sooner or later, you're going to have to play a brand of football that's consistent to who you are. And I haven't seen that consistently enough with Notre Dame. When you go against teams that have the capabilities of putting up a lot of points, I don't see Notre Dame as a team that could put up 30-plus points. I just don't see it. And that's why I say that they haven't earned the right. So that's my point.